All right, what's up, guys? So today I want to do a little project that I've been putting off, kind of. I want to do the Scott rod panel for the back of the car. Goes right in here, and I also have the rear deck lid out. Okay, and you know, with the seat belts removed, I don't really like the way it looks. So I went ahead and on Amazon picked up this black carpet. Pretty cheap. I haven't really taken it out of the box yet to see what it looks like, but I got it pretty cheap on Amazon. And what I'm going to do is basically cover the top of this with the black carpet. That way it'll cover up all the holes and it'll look much nicer. So, and then this panel here, we're going to have to kind of trim it to fit. Because I noticed there's like a bend back here that needs to be kind of trimmed in order for it to fit, and then you rivet it together. So yeah, that's what we're going to work on today, and I'll show you guys how to install it. This is my first time, so I'm learning too. But anyway, let me get to it. All right, so I got a piece cut here that is a little bit bigger than this, and I have this adhesive carpet spray that I've had this for a long time. It works really good. So all we got to do is basically make sure it hangs over a little bit, and I'm going to try and tuck it over kind of like they did around the edges, but I want to make sure that I have enough to do that. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'll throw some adhesive on it and get the edges folded over, and then let it sit, and then we'll put it in the car. Okay, so I got it cut to fit. I put the first layer of glue underneath and put it right on top, and then I put some glue on this piece and this piece, and then I'm going to fold it over. This glue here, you have to wait, like when you spray it on, you wait like 5 minutes. It's been a couple minutes already until it tacks up, and then that'll help it I guess bond better. Yep, just like that. Holds pretty good. So I'm just going to go around and do that the whole way around, and then I believe I'm going to cut that off, because I don't think you fold that over. You don't want that sticking over, I don't think, because it's not on there. So yeah, I think I'll just cut that off. So let me finish folding all this over, and we'll move on to the next step of getting it in the car. Okay, there we go. Got all the little cutouts. I guess for the when you mount it in there, I guess there's like a plastic piece, I believe, in there. I'm not sure what that cutouts for, but yeah, it went up really good. And let's get it in the car, and then we can start working on the panels. Okay, so I'm getting ready to put it in right now, and I just wanted to give a little advice on one thing. When you buy those Scott rod bulkheads, it has an option where you can buy the bottom part, the delete part of the actual seat. You know, down here it's like an aluminum piece here. I personally don't recommend it, because if you ever have to get back in the back of the car and sit back here for whatever reason, that won't hold any weight. You'll just dent it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some carpet, and this part that you see, that's, you know, you can still see the bottom of the car, I'm just going to cut some pieces and kind of conform it in there to cover that up, so I can still get back here and I can sit on that. You know, if we're putting a cage in or something like that, I can get back in here. If we're doing some torque box reinforcements, it's easy to get back here and work on it. There's just a lot of things that you don't realize, that if you put that, I don't even know what you call it, like the seat shelf, the part that goes here, if you put that there, you're kind of limited to being able to get into the back of the car. But anyway, so let's keep going here. Okay, so I got it in. It was causing me a little trouble here in the corner. I couldn't get it underneath that lip, but I have this little tool here that I just kind of picked up the corner of the plastic, and it slid right underneath, so it looks really good. Yeah, so now we just got to get the aluminum piece in here and start trimming it around this piece. Remember I told you there's like a bracket that comes down, and it kind of hits here, so I need to trim that, and then yeah, let's see how that fits. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys how good these they make these panels. You can see how it basically contours right to the, see how it bumps out there and then comes back. They make them fit really good. The only thing we need to do is, this is as far as it'll go this way. It won't go any further in. So I'm gonna have to trim back in here a little bit. It's underneath this panel, so you will never see it. But I'm gonna trim it so that I can get this nice and close and get rid of this gap right here. So let me go ahead and trim that a little bit and then see if we can tighten up that gap, because this is actually a SFI approved, I guess. This is what their website says. It's an approved firewall. So you can have your nitrous and your battery and your fuel cell and all that in your trunk. And this bulkhead here is approved. So, but I want to get it tight right here. So let me get that going. Okay, so I got it pretty tight. The gap is really small. What I can do is afterwards, maybe I'll put a little piece of like a weather stripping behind this, you know, to completely seal it up. But other than that, yeah, it's fitting pretty good. I only had to cut off a little bit on the end here, maybe, I don't know, whatever that, ½ inch, quarter inch off the end, to get it to butt up against it, because it hits a piece of metal in here that won't let it go any further. So, but it's all buried behind this, so you won't see it. So, and that brings me to something. This is just a little rant. Like I see a lot of on the internet, I see a lot of people sometimes bashing companies because they'll buy something, you know, like this bulkhead here was, man, I bought it a couple months ago. It was like $100 or so. I don't know what it was, but, and like I had no expectations of this just sliding in and being totally perfect. Like you can't have expectations like that, especially when you're dealing with like custom stuff like this. So you may have to trim it, you may have to just fit it, you know, and make it right. But I see a lot of people on the internet like just bashing a company because they're saying it's horrible, fits terrible, doesn't work, I had to modify it, blah, blah, blah. Well, I mean, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? What are we doing with these cars? You know, these cars are like full-size RC cars, you know. We're just modifying them and playing with them, and you can't expect everything to be perfect. So that's just my little advice, you know, like don't have expectations, high expectations of everything fitting perfect when you buy stuff for these cars. And that goes with everything. I mean, you know, K members, oh my goodness gracious, the forums are full of people that say K members don't fit. And come to find out after, you know, if you talk to them or whatever, it's something little, it's something, an adjustment, maybe a bolt hole needed to be opened up a little bit to get the bolt to fit, just something really stupid, and they go on there and bash the company, you know. I feel like UPR gets that kind of a reputation too, and I think their products are really good. But anyway, back to this, we're almost done. So this video won't be too much longer. But anyway, I'll get back to this and we'll finish it up. All right, so I got it in there the way I want. I had trimmed that a little bit over there, and like I said, over here, and to get to where the seam meets in the middle, it looks really good. So, but before I rivet this in, I want to cut a couple pieces of this black carpet that I have left over. Actually, I have a lot left over. I had to buy like 15 feet of it. But I'm gonna put some carpet pieces in here and try to kind of form it up around, you know, the transmission tunnel. But I don't want to rivet this in because I want to try to get it behind here so that this will sit on top of the carpet and kind of give it nice, like a nice clean finish. So let me cut up a few pieces of this, try to get it fitted in, and then, you know, get it under here and up under here. It'll kind of give it, I guess, a better look. I mean, as good as it's gonna look without having to, you know, like I said before, get the rear seat delete bottom part of it, which I do not want to do. So, but yeah, it looks really good. This shiny stuff here, that's gonna come off. That's just a protective plastic that you take off when you're all finished. Don't ever take that off before you start fitting it, because you'll scratch the heck out of it. So yeah, it looks really, really nice. And then in the future, you know, if we do a cage, all you'd have to do is basically, there's speaker holes here. You would just cut a hole, you know, cut your hole and feed your bar down through there. to meet the other, you know, to weld it in the trunk there. So that's not a big deal. We can go ahead and get this all done. So all right, let me like I said, let me finish this, and then we'll come back and wrap this up. All right guys, we got it pretty much all the way done. We just got to put the rivets in here and attach it to that crossbar, but everything else looks really good. The carpet's in there. You see what I mean by how it comes out looking like really good. I mean, you can, there's a transition here, but it's kind of hard to see, especially probably on this camera too. But yeah, and I went ahead and put some carpet on the wheel tubs here, and there's still, like I said, a little gap, but we'll fill that in from behind, maybe with some, like a piece of weather stripping, like a foam weather stripping. So there's absolutely no gaps whatsoever. It'll be totally sealed off. So yeah, I'm really happy the way this is coming out. Yeah, I haven't, I went online, and when I bought this bulkhead panel, I looked all over YouTube to see if anybody has had an install video of it, and nobody does. There's absolutely, this will be the only video out there of someone installing one of these. So so the next thing we had to do is we had to drill some holes and do the rivets, and I'll kind of show how to do that, and then we'll just finish this project up. And it's, man, it looks amazing. It's kind of probably hard to tell on video, but it looks really clean. All right, back to work. All right guys, we're done. What I did was, instead of using the panel itself comes with these rivets, okay, that to put here and attach it to that, you know, the car that way. But what I did instead was I used some self-tapping screws, 1, 2, 3, and then 1 in the top, 4. Okay, and it's not going anywhere. So the reason I did that was because it's going to be easier. If you rivet it, to get it out, you got to drill it out and all that. And I figured, I know that I'm going to be doing the torque boxes eventually, so that's right behind here and here. So all I got to do is take out 4 screws. This slides this way, this slides this way, and the whole thing comes out. Very simple. If I did the rivets, then it would be a little more complicated. So, but man, I am really happy the way this turned out. Yeah, I highly recommend Scott Rod for all their panels, their, you know, engine bay cleanup stuff. It's really quality stuff. So anyway, I was using my flashlight here because it's kind of dark in the car, but yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. The next video, we got some parts coming this week. We bought a bigger turbo, so I went with a Borg Warner turbo. It's a billet wheel SXE. It's the SXE line, so it's going to be a 64 millimeter. We have to get a few more things before I'm going to be able to install it, but we also have a manifold. I got the CX Racing manifold, pretty much the go-to manifold for your 1J swaps. It's like 500 bucks. You can't beat it. It's the best value for your money. And so I ordered that too. That should all be here sometime this week, and we'll do a video on installing that. So, and I've been also trying, you know, working on some options for a transmission too, because in order to run all that, you know, the bigger turbo, and to get out of it what I want to get out of it, I can't be running the automatic transmission. I tried to figure out some ways maybe to shift it manually, and it's just it's a big thing, and it's complicated, and you got to order a box to be able to shift it manually. And the thing is, I could spend all the money on all that, you know, the electronic part of it, and get it to work, but it's still an A340 transmission, which could break. And I don't want to invest all that money into it and then, you know, end up having to break anyway. And so trying to figure out what I need to do to get a Power Glide or a Turbo 350 or a Turbo 400 or whatever. I don't know. I'm still debating on my options. The Power Glide is lighter, but it's not as good as a Turbo 400 or a Turbo 350 with a JZ. Okay, specifically with a JZ because of the power band. You know, the JZ's power band is kind of a tight range where it makes torque and peak horsepower. is a tight range. So the more gears, the better. So, you know, you can stay in that power band, whereas a power glide, it's not going to stay in the power band as easy. Now, power glides are great if you make a lot of torque, because it kind of softens the hit off the line, and it works better for some drag racers that you know make a lot of torque and a lot of power down low. This it's not going to make power down low. I'm gonna have to get a converter also that's going to be like a 5,000 stall converter, a really loose converter, just to be able to get this thing to spool up and get into the power band when you leave. So, but anyway, it's a lot of stuff and it's fun. I love like delving into stuff like that, the technical aspect of it, and figuring out, you know, what your combination needs, and not just looking on the internet and seeing what everybody else is buying and just buy it. You know what I mean? There's more into it than that, and that's the part I like about it. It's, you know, figuring it out, the engineering part, and getting things to work. So, but anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. Like, share, and subscribe. Check you all next time.